Ooh, yeah. G'day, Finn Roo here, how you doing? Just filling me pint. Here we go. The old tired bastard, the old keg's hitting right down to the end here, but she's been a beautiful drop, and I'm pleased to have my keg filled with it. Here we go, it's a lovely drop. There we go. How you doing, Finn Roo here. So, I've got a few things to talk about today. Hang on a minute, just grab me notes. Ooh. Always organised, me, you know me. Right, so the tired bastard, the dark ale. Cheers. Beautiful. Slightly overcarbonated, but hey, that's fine. Lots of roastiness, lots of flavour. And I like the fact that the Monterey hops have always settled down after a couple of about 3 weeks. That they seem to the bitterness rounds out, and it's becomes very, very nice. So that's of course with a lot of beers you've got to let them age for 2 or 3 weeks in the keg, or So what I did last week, I brewed an Oat Meal Stout. I said I was going to brew the Panic Attack Pale, but I decided with this time of year, it's been a bit of a wet winter, it's turning into a wet winter, so I thought Oat Meal Stout. Haven't made one for a long time, so I set about to do it, and I ran into a few problems which I want to talk to you about. As it turns out, the brew's gone fine. So I mean, the beer's gone. It's fermented right down. But anyway, let's have a talk about it. So the recipe for this, and I will put the recipe down below, and I'll do a tasting video of this next week. But so the for a 22 litre batch, so I had 3.5, and it's very similar to the Tired Bastard. All I've done is I've just ramped up a few things in it. Not ranked up, just changed a couple of things in it. So let's have a look at what we've done. Ooh. Okay, so normally with my Tired Bastard I'd use American ale malt. So this time round I really wanted to make quite a meaty oatmeal stout. So what I did was I put 3.5 kg of, well, it says here Maris Otter, but what I used was Gladfield's ale malt, which is close to the English, but it's very, very biscuity. So I've used that. That's at 67.9%, so 68% basically. Half a kg of flaked oats, 350 grams of dark crystal. Well, it says here crystal 90, but they don't actually, Gladfields don't actually do those increments. They have light, medium, and dark. So I went for dark. So I had 350 grams of dark crystal, and so I went for 200 grams of brown malt, as per normal, and I went for 200 grams of pale chocolate, as per normal, but I also added 200 grams of chocolate, which is their very dark malt, and I went for 200 grams of roasted wheat malt, as per normal with this beer here. So basically it's the same brew. I've just ramped up the crystal to the dark crystal from the light. The brown malt's the same, the pale chocolate's the same, and I've added the chocolate, which is their real dark one, so I've added that. And the wheat malt, dark wheat malt is, or the roasted wheat malt is the same. So it's the same as this, but it's just a bit more beefed up. Cheers. Ooh. And it's a beautiful colour, this. You can't see it, but it's got a really deep ruby red to it. You won't see that there, so sorry about that. But holding up to it, it's got a nice deep ruby red, and I'll be sitting here at my workbench, listening to some music. some Symphonic metal, which I really love, and we'll get back to that later on. Got a bit of a shout out going on. And I've also used, so back to the beer, so I've also used Moteri hops, 5 grams, same, 5 grams at 80 minutes first wort, and 15 grams of Moteri hops, sorry, at 20 minutes, and then I put in the yeast nutrient and the the other clarity thing, orange moss. So I've just triggered my memory about putting yeast nutrient in the boil at 20 minutes. Now I've had a few comments that were much appreciated, and I have had these comments a couple or 3 times about adding yeast nutrient to the boil, and the fact that you're wasting your time because it will in fact denurture the minerals and everything that is handy for the yeast. And I have looked it up and I've researched it quite a bit, and there is something in that. I'm not going to say that. So there's something in that, and those people that have said to me about that, they could well be. Well, they seem to be right. I'll say that yes, you are right there. However, I don't think it's a complete waste of time, because yeast loves nitrogen, and when the yeast nutrient starts breaking down, it actually breaks down and produces nitrogen, which is beneficial to the yeast. So it's not a complete waste of time. The reason I put it in the boil and not into the fermenters, I worry about adding things into my fermenter. I don't want to first add oxygen. Well, it doesn't matter at that point, I suppose. No, it doesn't matter at that point at all. But the other thing is, I worry about contamination of my wort, so that's why I throw it in the boil. And that's the way I was. I spoke to a brewer, and I said, "Well, put it in about 5 minutes in the boil." He said, "Yeah, good as gold." And so I went with that. But then I started putting it in at 20 minutes. So I don't know. It doesn't hurt it. And yes, there are plenty of nutrients in the. And this has been pointed out to me too. There are plenty of nutrients in the in the grains that you use these days. The grains are fabulous. So it doesn't need a real big help along. And I do put it also into my starters, but I put it in my boil as a starters as well. So I appreciate the comments on that. So thank you so much. And so something to think about. There's a lot of people put their yeast nutrient in the boil. I haven't got to the bottom of it. I will actually be talking to. I have access to talk to some, some very, very, very good brewers, and that are in the industry. So I'll have a chat to them about that, and I will get back to you on it. I personally don't think it's a total waste of time, but it may well be. So thanks again. I appreciate those comments from the people that gave them to me. So that was the mash bill. I also put 3 grams of calcium carbonate and 5 grams of calcium chloride into my mash, and my mash ended up at just under 5.2. It was 5.17. And that's fine. That is more than fine. So next time I'll probably calcium carbonate. I might, so 3 grams of calcium carbonate and 5 grams of calcium chloride. So what I may do if I brew this again is go 5 grams of calcium carbonate and 5 grams of calcium chloride. So just bang up that calcium chloride, which is a 3 grams, just bump it up just a little bit, and that probably just bring my mash pH up to 5.2. So and I'm happy with that. So there we go. Now, I did run into a couple of problems. Oh, hang on a minute, bit of a thirst here. Cheers. Cheers, guys, all around the world. Love talking to you. So, the oatmeal stout. I did the overnight mash, and when I was underletting and mashing in, I I went to turn off the HLT when I was underletting. So that underletting is when you put the hose right at the very bottom of your mash tun and you fill it up from the bottom. It's a great way of doing it. It's very simple. No dough balls, nice smooth mash. However, I unplugged the wrong plug. I think I must have unplugged one to the fridge. And as I was sparging in, and it took a long time, the mash, the HLT water went up. And before I knew it, I looked at my thermometer and it was about 90 degrees. And so I thought, and I was halfway through my mashing, and I thought, oh my God, time for some evasive action. So what I did was I went quick. I just stopped at sparge, went straight outside. I think my mash was about 85 in the mash tun. I think I measured it was 85 degrees. Oh my God, that's way too hot. That's a disaster. So I went outside and I poured a pot of cold water from the tap, and I dumped it in, and miraculously, fortuitously, it went from that down to spot on 67, and that was very lucky. So had I cooked the mash? Had I ruined it? No, I didn't. As it turns out, it fermented right down. I've got it here. Well, you don't need to see it. I can tell you what it is. 10-11. So I just must have caught it in time. So I was very, very lucky. So if you're ever in a situation where you find that you get caught out like that and your mash is too hot, and you think, oh, just pour some cold water into it. Even if you can just bang it down to way below what it should be, and then you can maybe bring it up with some hot water. So that was very lucky. Very lucky. But I carried on. So that was fine. And then the next day when I did my vol off, and that was fine. That went well, except that I got into a conversation with my wife. I got in a house. We had earthquakes here 10 years ago, and we're just now getting things done. So we're getting drains done and all sorts of things going on. I'm trying to follow what's happening, and I got into a discussion with my wife inside. And when I came back out here, I had I got deja vu. I hate that. Came out here, oh, it's really bad. Came out here and, so the boil pot was right at the top, and it was running over the top. So it oversparged by 4 litres. So that wasn't flash, but I still carried on it. So I took the 4 litres out. In fact, I've got 2 litres in the fridge that I may make a starter with. I'll probably dump it, but So I took it down to where I thought it should be. And so I overcooked the mash, but got it down to temperature, and then I oversparged it by 4 litres. And then I realised after I finished sparging that I forgot to drop the pH of the sparge water down to under 6. I just and that's fine. The sun will still come up tomorrow. It's not a biggie. It won't win any competitions, but who cares? So I thought, oh well, it doesn't matter. I have to get my shit together. And it's when you're using different gear and you have a couple of different things going on. Like I've got the HLT there, and I've decided to go with filling my brew pot up. And when it gets to the right level, then I'll turn it off. The problem is that if you get waylaid, that just keeps on going, doesn't it? So before I used to use the exact amount of water, and it would always finish at the right place on the top. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, so it turned out okay. It smells very nice and roasty and toasty, and I like it. I'm very happy, and so far, apart from that pH, not dropping that pH with my sparge water. It's important to drop your pH with your sparge water because, especially on a dark beer like this, because it starts to, as you're sparging, the pH rises, and the more it rises, the more it starts to drag tannins out of your beer. So it pays to put a little bit of lactic acid into your beer, into your sparge water, and just under 6, and just keeps that pH down. So that's that. I just want to show you quickly. I just want to show you the. You probably saw a video of mine. I think it's the last one, or the one before, where I did the, save my yeast. I give it a bit of a rinse with some sanitized water, and then I harvested it. I just want to show you what happened with that. It seems to be okay. Ooh. And the stout's in there, the Oat Meal stout's in there, and she's cold crashing, and I'll probably keg it in the next couple of days. Looking forward to that. So here we go. I've got 2 of these jars, and here they are now. You can see that they have, so that's beer in the top, beer and water, okay, and down here you've got yeast, and there's a tiny bit of trub. Yeah, there's a little bit of trub, about this much trub at the bottom. So when I go to pitch this, what I found was if I take it out of the fridge on brew day and just leave it on the table here, when it starts to warm up, the yeast starts to run back into suspension again, and it's a bit of a pain. So I actually don't think that yeast is that sensitive to temperature. You know, down there when you're at that temperature, they don't have a brain or anything. They don't have a nervous system. So what I do normally is I'll leave it in the fridge until about 10 minutes before, and then I'll tip the top out, and I'll just leave it. Or if I want to, if you do want to warm it up first to the same temperature, then take it out of the fridge and drain off the beer water at the top. Just drain it off and just leave it up, and that way it won't go back into suspension. So there it is. That's what I did the other day, as you saw it. So that's going to be a good, and I will do that in a starter. But if I don't want to do a starter, if I can't be bothered, I could just pitch that straight in, and that'll be fine, and that'll kick off real well. So that's that. Just put it back in the fridge. I don't want it to, you know, go back into suspension. I've got a few in there actually. Right, so moving on. So what I've been listening to, as I said before, I'm going to have another drink here. Cheers. Beautiful beer. Look at the state of that. Oh my God. Lacing the whole business. Homebrew. Again, that bitterness that I had before is really mellowing out my cherry hops. I love it. Great. So I have been listening to Eden Bridge. This is symphonic metal that I'm really into. Eden Bridge. Really nice, poppy, well-constructed, well-crafted songs. Quite a bit of Celtic influences, so the Irish, you know, really good. This is a beautiful CD. This I really enjoy it. I've been listening to this today. And Brewing Dawn. They've got quite a few albums out, and they are once again quite sort of poppy, but they're very, I guess, classically, symphonic metal for sure. Not really hard, not real, you know, dark, and none of that. I don't mind. I've had to live with a little bit of that death metal growl, if you like, and I never really liked it, but I found that I was missing out on a lot of tunes, a lot of good music from as soon as I heard that. I'd turn it off and I'd just say no, I don't like that band. And here's a great example of a band that do it really well. Epica. And I've only just got the CD. I've been playing it a lot, and there's a lot to listen to on it. It's a beautiful album. There's a wee bit of the old death metal, but not much. It kind of works works really well, and I've accepted that if I'm going to listen to this sort of music, I need to get a little bit of it. I could not listen to a whole album where all the vocals are just I don't know how they do that. But anyway, it's a fabulous album. This is the first one I bought of this band, and I have listened to other stuff of theirs. The Skeleton Key, Seal of Solomon, brilliant stuff. Yeah, great CD. Imperia. Now this woman here in Imperia has a mighty voice. And I love the CD. I really, really do. And if you get a chance to go and listen to Imperia, it's fabulous. I only know the CD, and I listened to a wee bit. She's done a sort of a side project called Angel, and it's got something to do with apparently she's lost her daughter to she's lost a daughter to, I think her daughter's gone into a home, or I'm not sure. Okay, sorry about that. My battery went flat on my video thing. So and so yeah, Imperia really good, and Dark Sarah is another band that I really love, as you know, and great stuff. The thing about this symphonic metal is very complex. It takes a lot of listening to, and it's not just like straight out pop stuff where you can like listen to it and go, oh, that's really good, or that's really good. You know, there's symphonic metal, man, they are great musicians. So I want to do a shout out now to May Loves Music, and I'll put a link to her channel down below. And the reason that I want to do a shout out to May is, for one thing, is it's a new channel, and she's just getting started. And also, secondly, I love her channel, and because I'm into symphonic metal, and that's what she specialises in, is symphonic metal, and she goes through each song quite often and details it and brings forward things that I would never have thought to think about when listening to it. And as I said before, this sort of music, symphonic metal, is very complex. There are complex lyrics, there are complex melodies, complex, a lot of it comes from classical music styles and things like that, and she has a really good point of view and a really good knowledge about songs, and she listens to them really, really well, and she'll go and she'll research the songs one by one. It will take a lot of time to do a video like she's doing, and I just want to really I just really want to give her a shout out and say, well done, May. I'm really enjoying your channel, and I'm sure that when more people get on board, it's going to take off, because I just really love it. So to my subscribers, or people watching this video, get over and have a look at it. If you're into symphonic metal music, or you want to listen to some different music, or you want to you want to explore some different music, symphonic metal may be for you, get in and have a look, and listen to what May has got to say about the symphonic metal and the songs. She's just done a series on Taria, which I just love. Taria from who was in Nightwish, and I've followed her solo albums up to date with all her stuff, and her classical operatic stuff as well. So Taria's got we say symphonic. It's a I can't think of the word now. She's got the high register voice, and the songwriting. She's got a great team behind her. She writes a lot of the songs herself, but she also has collaboration with other people for her songs. Soprano is the word that I was trying to think of. Fabulous, and a lot of the symphonic metal is soprano, but not always. So once again, I'll put a link down below. May Loves Music. If you want to get into some symphonic metal and learn a little bit, and if you're already into symphonic music, then she will probably describe things that you've never thought of before in these songs. So, as I said, she's just done the Taria stuff, and she's done a lot of Nightwish as well, which is great with Taria on it. So fabulous stuff. So I'm going to go now. cheers everybody. Thanks for watching. Get over and have a look at May's channel. May loves music, and brew on, listen to music, and cheers. You take care. Ooh.